presentation. Join feedbacker. Thank you very much. Moving on to our third evaluator, focusing on dialogue and vocal variety. Myself. Did I get music? Wow, cool. Can I have some more? The moment that I entered Beth's speech, the moment where she grabbed me and brought me in, little girl, you leave him up. Now, I'm doing a totally different voice here, you realize. You little girl, stay away from me. That was the moment that she grabbed me. When she went into dialogue to tell the story. Everything up until that point had been descriptors, setting the scene. But the moment she stepped into that character, took on the voice, and as Nick pointed out, the body gestures, she grabbed me in that storyline, and I saw exactly what she was trying to tell us. This character that she embodied, that mother, now if I'm just my guess, was probably the most well-realized character of everything that she had. Was this not? You could see the mother, could you not? She had the moves, she had everything. I was waiting for the Z formation. I mean, she had it down. We knew who the mother was. And we knew who the father was because of the voice change. And we knew the guy behind the counter. Would you like your order to go? Voice change. When you're doing a story presentation on stage, step into story. And the best way to step into story is to step directly into dialogue in the story with the people you were talking about. That worked fantastic. The way you set those up, used the dialogue in that multiple times. There were many different points of dialogue. Every single person had a unique voice and a slightly different range, along with body motions, which was excellent. Now, where you can improve this, get there sooner. Absolutely sooner. Now, earlier you did start with the you know, that was the first example of automatopoeia where we actually came in with the sound, but I didn't feel that it really bolstered a story because you were still setting things up. So how do you get there sooner? Well, you had an opportunity when you're talking to your husband about the front yard. Hun, do you think we're bringing down the property values? You could do that in dialogue. Because you did it in exposition. I asked him if I thought we were bringing down the property values. Well, if you go into dialogue there, great. That's a way to beef that up. But what I would really suggest, start the whole thing with that story. Don't even set it up. Leave that till later. Go right to McDonald's. We're in McDonald's. My husband's there. My da-da-da-da, etc. You little girl, get away from it! Now she sounds like a witch. What's with that? I don't know where that's coming from. But if you go right to the story, you can hit people with the dialogue in a dramatic style. You grab your audience, you bring them in, and you've got them for the rest of the run. That's how you improve this one. I see you're nodding your head, so you can agree with me on that one. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster myself. Our fourth evaluator, working on emotional impact. Yes, I read that right. Allison. Allison, otherwise known as Joe Harper.
As you said, my name is Joe Harper, and I'm an amazingly funny evaluator. And not only am I a funny evaluator, I left poor Miss Allison Bennett totally out to laundry. Boy, see this? It puts so much pressure on me to be amazing that now I'm nervous. So I'm going to go back and be Joe Harper and be amazing. That's a lot of intro, and I have 2 to 3 minutes? Thank you. Beth. That's who this is all about, is Beth. I know Beth. I love Beth. And you're right, she was very open. And she truly cares. And when you truly care, that draws people in automatically. So she immediately had us because she cares about the topic, she cares about us, and she communicates that through her eyes. And we have that emotional connection. Otherwise, some people are just up here, and they withdraw, and they become detached. When Beth walks forward, Did you see that? I just felt it. Did you just feel that? You drew in a little bit. Here are a couple of quick suggestions. One is, if you didn't feel it, whenever we back up on stage, it shrinks us. It draws us away from the audience. It detaches us. If we back this way, it weakens what we have to say. So if we want an emotional impact, we want to walk purposely, and we want to do as much as we can toward the audience. And of course, we do need to come back. So you can walk sideways back. The vocal variety also impacts the emotional impact. And I would agree. You had the mom down, and you had the daughter down. We were totally drawn in with the daughter because you, as was said, totally embodied her. And that drew us in. Let me ask the audience real quick. What was one of the most impacting things that you remember? Yes?
When Beth got into her element, when she was imitating the other mom, she's very skilled at what comedians call character assassination. That's the biggest thing that will grab someone's attention is the moment you go into your character assassination, it strikes a chord with people. It really does.
You're right. I'll tell you what I noticed. Her very last line. She took a pause. Do you feel that? Do you feel that tension in the pause? It's not just a pause. It's a pause with energy. And she delivered her line. That was the most emotionally impacting point of the entire speech, and you did that. And also, as I'm stepping back, let's do it at the beginning as well. Come out and get us in the beginning, get us in the middle, and get us in the end. Mr. Toastmaster.
We come to the end of the official evaluations. Join feedbackers. The power of the pause. Please welcome our general evaluator, Mr. Cleon Cox.
I'm counting how many people are here.
Have no application.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, most honored guests, speakers, participants, some feedback. Beth presenting Truth Matters. Let's jump right in with Leanna doing the manual speech. So Leanna got up and she began to give segments of her evaluation using I phrases. I feel that in evaluations, it's my recitation back to you what I feel. It's not by a book or anything, it's what you interpreted. So I appreciate you bringing the I factor in, I felt this, I heard this. So that if others didn't, then they can learn from that, or if they, okay, I'm not sure about that. I was wondering if you could have intertwined some of your feedback to her. As you give her something, you immediately jump to suggestions, as I hear sometimes. So how could you take that to the next step and go into the question, rather than say, I have a suggestion, maybe something to the nature of, when you do this, have you thought about maybe incorporating this for the impact to have this or to generate this kind of a feeling? It's a small thing, but this is what we work on here all the time. How can we get that little piece just to even make it better for us? She came up and told us that she was going to do this in 2 parts. You talked about that. Something that crossed my mind in this case, maybe some of the feedback would have been, possibly you should have written a nice intro to set some of the stage so that you didn't have to tell the whole story. You can set that up in your intro so that the audience gets the first part. I know that when I speak out in public many times, I write the intro and give it to them, and they never read it. But they don't time me the same, so it's okay. But here, utilize the value of the intro. Nick, talking about physical gestures. You split it between the narrator and character. But that was very good, because there was the two. You defined it right away in the beginning. You went on to tell her how she brought the characters alive, how it worked for you, and then you said, I have no suggestions, to which I'm thinking, we can always have suggestions, because it's your point of view. And that's the true part of evaluations, is when you can go farther in and deeper and go like, okay, what little piece? Maybe she had a pin sticking here that was out of place or something. From your position, how could it be better? And if you ever want to try to do that, give an evaluation to a world champion speaker. There is nothing that they don't do well. And you could say, oh, I have nothing. There is always something. That's the game, that's where you grow. You actually grow more there than they grow. So keep that in mind. You were going to be critical, you said. I'm thinking like, how about stretch? Don't tell them you're going to be critical. So I want to stretch myself today and even get deeper into this. And then go on with your feedback. You brought up the stage direction. Very good. You've been training in tutelage here under Mr. James. Good job of that, because it does make a difference. And the longer we're in this, we definitely see it. You had many observations. I was impressed on your observations of all the gestures and what you caught, and you kept right to the topic of gestures. That was very good, because many times people will turn around and stretch and go all over, but you stayed with it. As you can see, it can be hard, but you learn from that. James, dialogue, vocal variety. Just join feedbackers. Your background shows, but you don't jump on that. You get into it and you go directly in on how it was working. You have that, you have a great ability to teach. And I like the way that you get up and you could do this, and then you could have went right here and done this, and squatted down, and you go into the infinite detail and then bring it back out. Use praise. You don't just say I'm praising, you do it. She can feel the praise. From that spot, specific feedback of what and where. Not just you did this well, this is how, this is where you're going to do it, what it's going to do, and the impact. And then you also mimic it and do it for us, which I think is very helpful, rather than just tell people what you think. Allison, emotional impact. Within a short amount of time, here are some suggestions. Can you work that in? Have you thought about, as opposed to directly, I'm going to give you a suggestion now, how you can improve upon this. How can we work those words so that you're just doing it into a story, in a sense, that you're saying, you did this, and then I was thinking, if possibly you took this to here, and then you also include there what you liked about how she grabbed your attention, what it was that caught you, so that she gets that praise out of it, because it did impact you, and you let them know that. Vocal variety. I thought you were too fast on the vocal variety. I'm thinking like, okay, she's getting by this. She says she had good vocal variety. I'm like, come on, where, when? And then go in and give a good one that really caught you, and then another one that possibly she could improve it from your point of view. And that could have given her more feedback so that she can work on that. You can't cover it all, just a little piece here, a little piece there. Mr. Toastmaster.
And now, Mr. Timer, with some feedback on how certain individuals could improve next time. Please tell us the time.
We had a little bit of pacing problem because I didn't know the times last time. Everybody's a little bit short. This time, everybody's a little bit long. The speeds was 6 to 8. It was 8:42. For those of you who've done the competitions, you know that's disqualified. Leanna, Nick, James, and Allison, I think you guys got together. You're all plus or minus 1 second from each other. But 2 to 3 minutes, you're all over 3 minutes. Leanna 321, Nick 320, James 319, Allison 320. And I chided Joe about going long. Cleon, you're usually really good at that 29 or 30 seconds and you don't quite go over. You had 3 to 5, 5:30 when disqualified, you were 6:16.
No way.
My heavens.
But it was worth it.
How could that be?
Yes.
Well, where's my manual, damn it? I got my speech out of this.
Thank you. As Cleon pointed out, there are always opportunities to make even the most talented evaluator improve next time by being shorter. Well, you
Oh,
can
that
be.
puts me out.
Yeah, that's true. You're just tall. Absolutely. Fantastic. I need a different. You want to do your own Vanna White?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you can have somebody, but they can't read my handwriting.
Oh, all right. Do you have 4 areas?
Yes.
Ooh.